PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of the PR Connections podcast is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PR Connections Radio Show at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host. And my good friend Davin Sundvick, who is a realtor and a very, very sharp businessman and podcaster. He recently appeared on another podcast, and he's back already. We have some exciting news to announce today, but hey, great to see you again, Davin.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Guy. Appreciate being back on the show.
Yes, and so as we talked a few weeks ago about your career in real estate, and maybe you could give the audience an overview of what it is that you do in your profession.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you guys who are just joining, maybe you didn't see the previous podcast or you just need a little update. I sell homes. I help people with investment property, help people with commercial real estate, whether they're a business owner who needs to lease or buy a building, or if they're a business owner needs to sell a building, or maybe they're a commercial real estate investor. I can help in all those different areas, but then I can also help people sell their business as well as a business broker. So pretty much every element of the local and real wealth building, whether it's the building side of it or the, hey, I'm done and ready to retire side of wealth building.
Yes, it's so real estate, as all of us know, Davin, and we talked a lot about this in the last interview that we did recently, is one of the great wealth builders, one of the most proven wealth builders, definitely in the history of America, if not in the history of the world, and ever-changing industry that you need a good tour guide sometimes to be able to navigate you through.
Yeah, and it's an interesting industry because as the profession goes, it's fairly archaic. The same way that we've been doing business has pretty much existed for thousands of years, nearly. And other than having a little bit of technology at our hands to leverage to make that a little bit more efficient, the industry hasn't changed that much. But yes, the market changes on some, not really a daily basis like the stock market does, but certainly on a monthly basis. And we have a new political climate, a new economic climate every single year that's just different than the year before, right? It's just our modern world changes the economic landscape. And I think having somebody who has their pulse on that, guiding you through your home purchase or any real estate transaction is definitely going to be an advantage for people over just trying to DIY it or just going with somebody who doesn't necessarily have that expertise, you know?
Right. I feel in a lot of ways, Davin, on a lot of topics, but specifically when it comes to real estate and finance, we're kind of overloaded with information in our modern society with the internet. And there's just so much information out there for people. And again, being that person that can kind of cut through all of that and give people practical solutions that can really put them in the right direction. I would imagine sometimes when you're working with people, you have to help them to unlearn ideas maybe that they've gotten from elsewhere that might not serve their best interests.
Absolutely. I would say most of what is holding people back is not because they can't understand what can help them build wealth. It's they've already filled their mind up with information, biases, opinions of people who are never going to build wealth. And so taking that into context and saying like, okay, that person believes this thing. They may be an important person in my life, but they may not be the best financial example of what I want to live. And taking that out of the context of what you want to live in your finances is extremely important. So that's one thing really enjoy doing actually is taking people in their situation and just saying, hey, what's just better? What's better than where we are? I call it a position improvement. And oftentimes there's multiple different ways to improve a position. And unfortunately, human beings have a really difficult time choosing between multiple options. We can choose between one or two options really well. We can't choose between 10 to 20 options very well. And Guy, just like you said, with the abundance of information about all these different financial products, they're not for everybody's situation at that particular moment in time. I think of financial products as a thing that you add to your finances through time as it becomes relevant to the stage of life that you are in. So I really try to help my clients see what stage they're in, embrace it, and make the moves that they've got to make.
Yes, and again, living in Las Vegas and having had a lot of experience with a somewhat turbulent real estate market, especially over maybe the last 15 or 20 years, it seems that we are kind of hyper-focused here on the state of real estate, just because of, we were at the peak. And then we were at the valley of the last big boom and bust when it came to real estate. So in terms of dealing with the local market, Davin, with a lot of people, we all lived here, we experienced that. How do you manage the expectations of people or get them to not be in fear? Because we know that doesn't serve a person when they want to grow wealth, but also to be that guide, that leader, that person that can settle their nerves, because again, we're starting to get a lot of information that's coming out now about some of the twists and turns of the Las Vegas real estate market again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something to consider is the historical factor, right? For the last 150 years, Nevada as a state has been a boom and bust industry through gold mining, silver mining. And we actually still mine precious metals to this day in Nevada specifically. So mining is actually still pretty relevant in a lot of the more rural communities, but in Las Vegas specifically, you still have to have that boom and bust mindset. And during those booms, you can easily get priced out of your home, right? If you rent a home and somebody else is willing to rent it for double of what you're paying, right? Why would your landlord keep your rent down for forever? They're not. Eventually, it's going to price you out. So buying a home can be a major inflationary protection in a desert, which is where we live. We live in what's called a desert oasis, right? We live in a desert, but right next to a major water source. And so that creates spikes in demand of a variety of different resources, specifically real estate. So it's incredibly important for people who want to stay in Nevada for a long period of time to own real estate to protect themselves from those spikes. The other end is opposite as well. And that's what a lot of other markets don't have in common with Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, you also have to be able to protect your income from dips in the market. Las Vegas hurts during recessions. So having a recession-proof source of income that can help you pay your mortgage or at least supplement your mortgage payment is definitely critical, I would say, for a lot of homeowners.
And part of the reason for this podcast, us getting back together so soon, Davin, as I mentioned, is that we've got a huge announcement that our very own Davin Sundvick is going to be joining us here at prconnectionsradio.com with a podcast called The Real Deal. And we're so excited. Davin used to be a part of one of our first podcasts on the network, actually, which was The Love of Business. And he did an outstanding job with him and Edgar Rodriguez interviewing entrepreneurs and business people. And now he's going to be returning and doing a solo project. You want to tell our audience, Davin, what they're going to witness when they tune into The Real Deal?
Yeah, absolutely. So what they're going to witness is me talking about analyzing whether it's a specific financial vehicle or financial investment opportunity that somebody could be looking into, whether it's the strategy on how to invest into those different asset classes, but then also the kind of stage of life. And if you can kind of picture that triangle, right? Sometimes you're not in the right stage of life to invest into that asset. And then so therefore the strategy is irrelevant, right? But sometimes you can invest in that asset. It's at the right, place and time, but you've chosen the wrong strategy. And it's not necessarily that the strategy that you chose doesn't work. It just might not be the best, right? Or it might not be the best for your particular situation. So my goal is to be able to touch onto all of those three things as a major focus of each podcast episode. And then to break up the episode, since they're going to be about 30 minutes long, I do want to give a little bit of local news as well and things that affect the real estate market in particular. While I do have a wide variety of knowledge about a wide variety of different financial assets, I do focus specifically on real estate. I am biased. I think it's the best. But so we'll talk about the current condition of the Las Vegas housing market and commercial real estate market. And we'll do a segment at least once a month. And then we'll also do a segment once a month about some different things that are going on statewide. And I really like to focus on wildlife. I think wildlife is a huge indicator of our resourcefulness as a community and as a nation. I think when wildlife populations are down, it's definitely an indicator of poor economic opportunity. And then when wildlife is abundant, it is another resource like anything else, right? Everything, your time is a resource, right? Your energy is a resource, your money is a resource, but also your public access, your government, the state of the political climate, those are all resources as well, right? That's why people fight so hard for their political party, in either direction. So we'll be talking heavily about wildlife at least once a month.
Yeah, that's an interesting twist. I mean, obviously you have this passion for finance, but this whole extra component, Davin, with talking about wildlife, something that you're passionate about. I think that people really enjoy those types of podcasts where they learn more about you as a person. So obviously as a professional, the information that you provide and your knowledge, that's what people are tuning in to learn about. However, learning more about you as a person and you having this particular passion for wildlife is something that I think people will really enjoy.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things to where it definitely started as a passion, and now I'm at the stage in life where it's actually a give back now. Like that's how I spend my weekends, honestly, is whether it's me just enjoying wildlife or at least once a month or twice a quarter, I try to do some kind of volunteer event where I'll actually go out there and we'll do something that's going to benefit wildlife, which people are invited to. A lot of these events are open to the public.
Yes, and so when a person tunes in to The Real Deal, love the title, by the way, just fantastic, so fits you. What can they expect? What's the takeaway that when a person tunes in that they're going to get?
Yeah, they could expect kind of almost like a little glimpse of what it's like to be a client, right? I've had so many different conversations with clients, which is how I've learned a wide variety of things. Because sometimes you talk to clients that know more about something than you do, and you can take that from them and teach it to other clients and say, hey, this guy is winning right here, and you're in a very similar position he was in 5 years ago. You should do that, right? And then other times clients ask you questions and you don't know the answer, and you end up doing all this research, and you don't want it to go to waste, right? So they'll kind of get that sneak peek of what that's like, but then they'll also get an immense amount of knowledge. One reason why my clients come to me is they know that I don't sugarcoat things. I think there's a lot of agents you can go to that'll only give you the good news. But it's honestly sometimes the harsh reality is what's going to keep you protected in your real estate transaction, right? Knowing when to walk away from a contract, get your earnest money back out and start putting offers on some different properties. That is how people stay safe, and it's actually how people build real wealth. So The Real Deal is all about authenticity, honesty, but then also like in an optimistic way, right? Positive decisions that are going to lead to real lasting changes in people's lives. And home ownership is a change. It's one of those things to where once you become a homeowner, like the way that you have to think in order to succeed has to change.
Right, definitely a mindset shift when you have ownership again of one of the cores of wealth. I know that what I've always heard, Davin, is that owning your own home is definitely one of the cornerstones. It's a consistent thing amongst people who generate wealth over the course of their lives, is that they own a piece of property. And so just that from that perspective, then of course, all these other services, of course, that you provide, the business brokering, the commercial real estate knowledge, I think that people will get quite an education related to real estate by tuning into your podcast.
Thank you, Guy. Yeah, that's the goal, right? The goal is that people are educated, and more than just educated, taking action. I want people to feel confident enough to actually move forward, because there's so many people that watch real estate podcasts and just sit on the sidelines, and they watch other people get wealthy. So we're definitely going to have a focus on what you can do, kind of every single month or every single week to make sure you're closer to where you want to be, one day. Because that's the goal, right? It's financial freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, the telephone number for Ethics Realty, which is Davin's company, is here on the screen. If you want to reach out to him to have him work with you on your real estate needs, please call him at that number. And anything parting that you want to say to the audience, Davin, about the podcast or your business? What is the date that is it 2:00 on Tuesdays, I think, is going to be the airing date for your show?
Yeah, 2:00 on Tuesdays. And I'm going to do 2 different Tuesdays each month. I think I'm doing the 2nd and 4th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, keep in tune, whether it's the 1st and 3rd or 2nd and 4th. It's definitely going to be on 2 Tuesdays every month at 2 p.m.
Right. So stay tuned. And of course, you're going to be able to watch the show here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. And you can always go to our website to watch archives of the shows. And you'll be able to listen on all of the audio streaming platforms that we are a part of, which include Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and many more. And again, Davin, we've been good friends for a long time, and I really appreciated watching your growth as a podcaster when you were doing the Love of Business. And so I think from that experience, well, it was a couple of years you guys did that show together.
Yeah,
and you interviewed a lot of people. Yeah. So what was that like, that experience, and how will that lend to what you're going to be doing now?
Yeah. You know what it was? It was a huge growth opportunity to understand show business from the production side, instead of more the back end side. For those of you who didn't know, I had a job in marketing maybe about, it was like 6 or 7 years ago now. And I did a lot of the back end work. So being kind of on the front end of it was really exciting, sourcing people in order to interview and just getting into that grind and getting into that role. But I'm also looking forward to taking what I've learned and to go into a different direction in a way that I think is not only going to help my business, but also my customers. Just give them a little bit more value, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions that my customers have that they don't necessarily ask all the time because they might not want to waste my time. And so they could always just go to my podcast and see if that question's already been answered. So that'll, I think, add a lot of value to people as well. And then, of course, as people ask questions, I think it'll also create a source of new content. So I think it's just going to create more conversations. That's really my goal with this.
Right. And again, so everyone tune into The Real Deal with Davin Sundvick. It'll be 2 Tuesdays out of the month at 2 p.m. live. And of course, we live in this podcast world where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we have access to these podcasts on all your local streaming platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and others. And of course, always visit our website, prconnectionsradio.com, to listen to archives of shows on our network. And hey, go out there and go get them. You're going to do a fantastic job with this informative podcast that combines real estate and the wilderness. What an interesting combination that's going to be.
Thank you, Guy. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and so we appreciate all of you for tuning into the PR Connections radio show. Hope you have a fantastic day, and we will see you here again very soon. Take care of yourselves. Sayonara.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.